everyone, I am Jenna and this is Apple Dolly. So today I thought, since this is the season of Advent, we would do an Advent star ornament. When you look at if you've ever seen one, they look complicated, but I'm going to break it down and show you how easy these actually are to make. So what you need is a piece of fabric. This is 1/4 yard. Now mine has, like, it's red with the little stars on it. You can use whatever fabric you want. You can do burlap. If you're doing like very rustic, you can use burlap. But this is just a cotton fabric that I have a remnant of, and so I thought this would be nice because it's red and I'm decorating red, and it has stars on it. So these Advent stars, you don't have to just use at Christmas time. You can put them on a doorknob or a cabinet knob and decorate year-round with these. It depends on the fabric that you use. What else we need is a fabric glue. Now you can get a little bottle of fabric glue at Dollar Tree, and you use very, very little glue, so that is plenty of glue that you need. This is a tacky glue, and that will work too. Elmer's will not work very well with this. I've tried it, and eventually, because it's fabric, it does come apart. You need some straight pins, quite a few straight pins. You need a ribbon to hang your ornament from. This is 1/8 inch, so you just have to match it to your fabric, and a sewing needle to put your ribbon through your ornament when we get it made. I have a yarn needle that I'm going to do my weaving with. Now you can use a large paper clip. You can use a large safety pin. It's just because we're going to be doing some fabric weaving. And I have these sewing clips. They're just little clips. Unless you do sewing, you're not going to have those. But you can use paper clips. You can use clothespins. Just something to hold your fabric together while the glue is drying. I have a rotary cutter. Dollar Tree does sell rotary cutters. They're smaller than this. And they also sell the cutting mat. I think the cutting mat's like 8 inches by 10 inches. So you can pick these up at Dollar Tree. I just have a large one. You need an ironing board. Or if you don't have an ironing board, you can use a folded up towel. You could also use a foam board. What you just need is something to put your pin through your fabric and into to hold it while you're working on it. So yeah, rolled up towel would be great if you don't have an ironing board. And you need an iron. Hi Tone, miss you too. So, and what else we need is a piece of fusible web. I like the brand Pellon. It seems to work better than some of the off brands. It comes with, it's on this parchment paper. What it is this real thin, this is glue that's activated by the heat of your iron. You can pick up a pack of this at Walmart. If you go into a fabric store like Joann's, sometimes they sell it by the yard. You just need about a half a yard, and really not even that much for an ornament. But yeah, so you can pick up a pack of this at Walmart. Hobby Lobby has it, and it's only like $3 for a yard of it. so it's not that expensive. And you need a ruler. I have a school ruler here. I also have a sewing ruler here, and you'll see how I'm going to use that in a minute. But you can use a school ruler and a pair of scissors. So it's not a whole lot of stuff you need. And I'm going to break this down because people look at these and think, oh my God, how do you make those? But it's really actually simple when you get it done. So the first thing we're going to do is fold our fabric in half, wrong sides together, okay? And we're going to press it to make sure that all the wrinkles is out. So no glue gun today. A glue gun is too difficult to use, even those real little ones. And you'll see why in a moment, because you've got to get the glue into some pretty tight spaces. Let's see this. Nope, we're good. So we're folded in half, and we're going to open this up. And we're going to take our piece of fusible web, and we're going to lay it out. Now, there's a paper side and a rough side. The rough side is your glue. You want that down on the back side of your fabric. If you have it the other way, the bottom of your iron is going to be a mess. So you want the parchment paper side up. And you can feel the difference. That's why I like Pellon, because their glue side is rougher. Some of them you really have to feel to get to know the difference of what side you have. So I'm just going to line this up with the edges of my fabric, and I'm going to iron right on top of this parchment paper. And you want to do it with no steam, because the steam for some reason messes up the fusible web. And it just takes just a couple seconds for it to start to adhere. Ooh, and it does get hot. And you just want to check it to make sure that all your edges are adhered. We're going to let this sit for a second just to cool off, and it cools off pretty quick. So see, it makes your fabric have a real nice texture to it. And you want that stiffness so that your star isn't floppy. If you would make this without the fusible web, your star is going to be floppy. I'm going to tell you how to do the, we're making the ornament, but I'm going to tell you how to make the tree topper too. And then you just grab a hold of the corner and peel the paper off. And sometimes it rips, so you just have to pick it off. But we're just going to peel it off. And it comes right off. And it'll stick to you because you got a lot of static here. Okay, Tone. Thanks. So we're just going to pick this off. Sometimes it'll come right off in a big sheet. Other times you got to pick little pieces. And it does stick to you, because you got a lot of static here. And I don't know why the static. It doesn't matter the time of the year, you have static. So this is what we got. Can you see the sheen on there? Why did I just get blurry? There's a sheen. Let me show you the difference. Can you see it now? This has the fusible and this does not. See that? So then we're going to fold our fabric over to match up the line where our fusible is. And you can see it. It is very visible. See that line? We're just going to fold the fabric over. Match up the edges of the fabric so you got it straight. And then we're going to press this again. Now what pressing this again does is it adheres your two pieces of fabric together. It fuses it to one. And again, use your iron with no steam. And I go over this a few times because you want a good adhesion, because you don't want to be doing this and then your two pieces of fabric come apart. These would make a great gift for somebody. My iron's telling me it's been on too long. I've been working on these today. I have some of this already done, so I can show you how it's put together. There you go. Your fabric is now adhered, and it has a real nice crispness to it. Crispness. I can't play the word to it, but you will notice this one is dry or cooled off. It has a real stiffness to it, and that's what you want, because you don't want a floppy star. It's going to hold your star upright. Okay, I'm going to flip this over to my cutting mat. Now if you we're going to cut 20 half-inch strips. Now if you don't want to go to Dollar Tree and get a cutting mat and a rotary cutter, you can do this with scissors. Just lay your ruler down, make a tiny little mark all the way across with a 1/4 inch all the way across, and then match up the 1/4 inch and then cut strips that way. But I'm using a cutting mat because it'll go much quicker. So we're doing half-inch strips, and we need 20 of them. So if you're using a rotary cutter and you've never used one before, went to Dollar Tree and got one, these blades will cut you extremely bad. So just be wary of that. So I'm taking my cutting ruler and I'm holding it down really tight when I match up my half-inch marks, and I'm just cutting right across. There you go. Now we're going to cut those again. So I'm going every half-inch and every inch. And what you do is you take the blade and you push it right up next to your ruler and cut. And the blade just runs right across your ruler. Oops, I moved the fabric. Okay. But this, you have to use caution with using one of these rotary cutters, especially when they're new, because you will get a really bad cut. One that could require stitches, so. So I'm just making sure my fabric, every cut is lined up on the grid on that cutting board. we need 20 strips. Now we're going to cut, like I said, we're going to cut these strips down to 8 inches. So you need 20 half-inch strips, 8 inches long. Now if you want to do a tree topper, you need 20 strips, 1 inch wide by 20 strips, 1 inch wide by 18 inches long. I had to stop and think what I was saying there. Okay, I think we've got enough to, we can cut these in half. So the length of your strip determines how big your ornament is going to be. So since we're making an ornament, you don't want real wide strips. That's why we're using 1/2 inch. But these go pretty quick. It just takes some time to prepare your strips here. So I got 2 strips together. I'm going to lay these out, line them up on the grid, and then I'm going to cut 8-inch marks. At the 8-inch mark, I'm going to cut them. So we need 20 of these. So I'm doing is just pushing these together, lining them up on the straight edge here. Now you can take your scissors and just cut them. Just like this. Time to have these scissors sharpened again. My scissors, I need sharpened all the time. I'm working on bears and an apron today. So I'm going to slide these up, push them all in line, and cut at the 1/8-inch mark again. So we're just cutting like a 1/2 inch off of these. But these have to be all the same length in order for your star to look right. So I'm going to cut these all at once with my rotary cutter to speed this up a little bit. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, we need some more. And then the 16-inch mark. So we have 14. Let's do some more. Now this is the hardest part of this star. It's just getting your strips cut. And it's really not expensive to do because Dollar Tree now sells fabric. So you could actually get away pretty cheap on this. You can get your fabric glue at Dollar Tree. You could get a rotary cutter and mat at Dollar Tree. Your fabric glue. They even have ribbon that you can use as your hanger. You can also use fishing line if you don't want to see your hanger. Now you can tell when you need your blade changed because you'll have a thread hang up here and there. So it's time for me to put a new blade in this puppy. Okay, so we're going to do 8-inch. And then we're going to do 16-inch. Then we're going to have enough strips. So you see, it really didn't take much fabric. At Walmart, you can get what they call fat quarters. It's just a piece of fabric for $1. So they have a whole display there. So I'm going to turn this back over to my ironing surface. I'll put our strips up here. Get some straight pins and some of these clips. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first strip, and that is our middle strip. So we're going to take a straight pin, and I'm going to put it straight down into my mat and then angle it and push it in, because that way it won't let loose when we're pulling on it. And I'm going to do both ends. And because this is our middle strip so we don't lose it, I'm going to just stick a pin in right in the center. So then we're going to put one right up next to it and do the same thing. We're pinning both edges of it. So I'm going back and forth on each side of our center strip. So you need 2 on each side of the center strip. We're using 5 strips right now. And you want them butted up to each other. So I'm just going back and forth. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we have 5 here. This is why you need something underneath, like your ironing board or a towel, to hold your straight pins to. Because you can't, if these move, then your star's going to be wonky. So there we go. Okay? We have the one pin sticking straight up. That's our center piece. So now I'm going to take, this is a yarn needle, and I'm going to put my strip in here to help me weave. So weaving is just over and under, and then the next one you go under and over. So I'm starting here in the middle. I'm going to pull this pin out, and I'm going under the first strip, over the second strip, under the third, and under the 5th one here. So there we go. We have our one strip. Now we want to make sure that the ends are the same length on each side. This sounds complicated. Honest, it's not. Once you get going here, you get your first strips fixed, then you can just go. Okay. So then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to pin each end of this so it doesn't move, because we don't want to end up doing all this work and get wonky stars. So this one, I'm going to go under the second strip, over the third, under the fourth, and over the 5th. So it's just the opposite direction than what we, whoops, my needle come out. So however, if you want over under on the first one, your center strip here, then you want to do the opposite on the next one. So now we already know that this center strip is good, so we're just going to line this one right up to that one. And we're going to pull it tight, and we're going to make sure that they're butting up to each other, because you don't want any spaces in your weave. And if you need to adjust your strips, if you take the point of your straight pin and just push it in, and you can move these pretty easy. So let's do another one. So we did 5 across, we're doing 5 down, but we start in the center because we need some ends. Okay, so I'm going on the opposite side of the center one, and I'm weaving that one. It's just grade school weaving is what we're starting with here. I don't even know, do they do this kind of stuff in art class anymore? Do they have art class? I don't know. So I'm just making sure I'm moving my strips, making sure they're butting up to each other. Okay, so we've got 3, we need to put 2 more down. So the reason I'm going on each side of the center strip is to make sure that the ends that are not woven are the same on both sides. Because if they're not, then we have to adjust that before we go any further. Okay, we have 4, we need 1 more. Now you can buy a weaving tool, they're only a couple dollars. A safety pin, or like this is a yarn needle, does just as well. Now it's very difficult to weave this without some kind of assistance because these are all pinned down. You can do it, but it's going to be harder. Okay, this is what we've got so far. And mine needs to adjust it. See, I've got more on this side than I do this side. This has to be the same. So I need to adjust those. And I'm not sure how that happened, because I started out in the middle. So I'm just going to pull out all these, and I'm going to move them over. All these pins. Just move these over. And you'll find out why this is important here in a moment. Okay, where's my ruler? Two and a half there. Oh, now I need to come this way a little bit. So this is what is called fussy work. 3. I have an 1/8 of an inch I need to mess with here. We're good. So now I just got to get all these ends, make sure I have the same this way. Yep, we're good. So I'm going to pin all of these back. again. Now I'm just going to make sure. Now this mat has a grid on it. The one from Walmart or Dollar Tree does also. It helps keep your line straight. Now you can also take a piece of tape and put it across to keep a straight line to help you adjust it. Let me push these together. Okay. So I'm just using the tip of the point of this straight pin and pushing these together to make sure that they're all lined up. And you want them taut. That's one thing the straight pins help, is keep everything tight. And they also help move the fabric around if you need it. I lost the straight pin somewhere. Okay. There we go. So we just got a cross there. Okay? Here's where the magic comes. Now whatever you're using as your clips, you need them now. So I got a string hanging here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the last strip on both sides, the last strip on all the sides. We're going to just take one pin at a time out and pull this back, and we're going to glue these down. And all you need is a tiny dot. Guess I should have opened the new bottle. Just a dot is all you need. So everywhere on this outside edge that these cross over, you got to put a dot of glue. Now this one, when you have a strip going over another, that is why you can't use a hot glue gun. You can't get the tip down in there. And all this does is help hold everything together and makes it permanent. Once you do this, one of these, you'll fly right through this. I'm going slow so that you can see all these steps. Now we don't need to take the pin out of this one because we've already glued the part here where the two connect. So we're going to start with the second one in. And I'm pressing where the glue is to make sure that the glue gets into the fibers. And I'm being careful to make sure that I don't have a lot of spaces, like a big space between this one and that one. So I'll pull this one out and I'll flip this one back, and we're just going all the way around. Now some people I've seen that make these, they glue every place, even in the center where the fabric crosses over. I've never found that to be necessary, but that is totally your preference. And if you get some glue on the outside of your fabric, this dries clear, so that's a nice thing about the fabric glue or this tacky glue, so you don't see it. Now I have tried to glue these as I wove them, and I just had a mess with the glue. So I have found that doing it this way is the easiest way without having glue everywhere, because I was being very careful and glue was just everywhere on my work surface. Okay, that one's already been done. I'm going to press these down. We got 3 sides done already. So you can make these with paper. You can use burlap, almost anything that you can weave. Ribbon, you can use ribbon, but you want to make sure you have a stiff ribbon, or use the fusible, because you can buy the fusible on a roll and fuse 2 pieces of ribbon together. Okay, each star takes 2 of these that we just made. And I'm just really pressing this to make sure that glue is getting into the fibers of the fabrics. Now I'm going to take a straight pin and I'm going to put it in each corner, so I can show you this next step. And then we're going to put this aside and do one that's waiting on us. Okay, that's just going to hold this center glued part down. So now, however you start this, you have to continue all the way around. So we're going to take 2 strips, this corner one and this corner one, and what we're going to do is we're going to bend them, and you want one to go directly over top of the other to make a point. See how I did that? Okay, so we're going to take this one and twist it. So we're going to take the top and we're putting glue on the back corner. So see, here's the top. The glue is on the back. Now this one, on this part of the cross, we're going to take the face of it, the top of it, and bend it over on top of that glue. And this is where you need a clip to hold that. So see what we've got there? So we're going to take this one and do the very same. Since I put glue on the back of the first one we just did, the glue goes on the back of this one too. Now we're going to go right over top of the one we just made and flip this around and match up those edges. And we're going to put a clip. So see what we're doing? Let me hold this up so you can see. See it? Let me get my hand out of the way. This is the one we just did, and first one, and this is the second one. See how that twists like that? Now this is our center strip. We're not going to bother anything with that center strip. So we're going to turn this around. Now here is our center strip. So what you're doing is 2 on one side and 2 strips on the other side. And we need this center strip to stay the way it is. So we're leaving that pin down. So we're going to start over here again and do the same thing we just did. We're going to pick up this strip and put glue right on the corner, right on the edge of the back. Take this pin out and turn this right up on top of that glue. And put a clip. So we need 2 of these little like tunnel things on both sides. So here's our center. So we're taking this next one, putting just a dab of glue on the back. Now you see how this is turning into a star? Taking this one and flipping it over and putting a clip and holding it to it. So there, we've got 2 points of this star already done. And this center one, we're not touching right now. So we're going to turn this around. We're going to do the same thing to all 4 sides, leaving that center strip alone. So we start at the edge and do the first one. So I turn this up, glue just a dab on the back, take the strip on this side of the cross, turn it over on top of the glue. There you go. So we're taking this one, not bothering that center strip there. That's a little too much glue. And then we're going over on this side and grabbing a strip and folding it over on top of that glue. So what we're doing is, when we put the glue on the corner, we flip it up, put the glue on the corner. Then we bring the one on the opposite side over, and we want to match it up like this. This is how you're matching your glue, like this, okay? Does that make sense? Hi. If you don't understand what I'm doing here, let me know and I'll show you. Now here's our center strip again. We're going to leave that alone. We're going to go to the edge of that one, grab it, put glue on the back side. Now on this side, the only side we haven't touched yet, pick up that strip, fold it over, and put the 2 together. See? Now we're going to do this to 2 of these. You need 2 of these for every ornament. Now I'm doing this kind of large. If you was doing a regular ornament, you might want it smaller. But these make really nice tree toppers, but you have to do, see? Now we've got 3. We have all 4 of the points. Now we have 1 center strip untouched. And that's what we have. We need 2 of these. We're going to set this aside and let this dry. Because that glue has to dry. So this is what we've got. See? I've got 2 of these. And see, the center strips are not bothered. I'm going to pull the camera down so you can really see what I'm doing. Okay. Get this out of the way. So I'm going to lay one of these down, and on these the glue is already dried. We're going to take the second one and flip it upside down. So one of these channels is going to go over top of one of these untouched center strips. So we're just angling it. So every one of these points have one of these strips on top of it. Okay? So then we're going to take that unused strip there and tuck it inside of every point. Do you see what I'm doing? So you have 4 points on each one of these sections, and you have 4 strips that we didn't do anything to. We're tucking those strips right inside of a point, just like that. So then we're going to take those strips, those center strips, and we're going to glue it underneath. Here's our center strip right here. We're going to glue it on these 2 points, on this point of the star. Okay? So we're going to turn it over, and I'm putting just a dab of glue. And we're going to press those right into, just like that. And I'm going to put a clip. Let me show you again. Here is an untouched center strip. We're going to tuck it inside of those 2 points and bring it up just like that. And we're going to put glue on the back side of these points, on both of them, for that strip to adhere to. So if your strip is longer, don't worry about it, because we can trim those off. So I'm going to put a clip. So here we go again. Here is a strip, the center strip that we didn't touch. Whoops, I just pulled it apart. We're going to tuck it inside of one of the points on the star. Flip those points back and put a dab of glue on both of the points. And then match that point, those points up right to that center strip. And you do that all the way around. Now see, this center strip is longer. That's fine, because we can trim it. So we're going to fold these points back and put a dab of glue. I'm going to trim this. See how it is longer? Can you see that? This strip is long. It goes out over the point. You don't want that. We're going to trim that off. Now these look complicated, and they really aren't once you sit down and start trying it. I really need to sharpen these scissors. Yeah, all the ones on this side needs. We're going all the way around, they're longer. But look how that's coming out. So I have tried to use straight pins on this. The straight pins didn't work out very well. So it is better if you use like a clothespin or some kind of a something that will clip. Okay. Oops, that one came unglued. Let me get a clip and hold it. And we have a whole star made. This is the Advent star. Now I'm not sure why it's called the Advent star. But there it is. Just one of those turned right upside down on top of the other. And that's an Advent star. So then you can go around and decide. You always have one, well, this one needs cut, that doesn't look like the others, and I don't know why, because you've done them all exactly the same. That's the one that I always put the hanger on. You always have that one. So there you go. Eight-pointed star. Whoops. We forgot one here. We didn't glue this one. Now this glue dries pretty quick. So out of 20 strips of fabric, 10 for each side, you have an Advent star. Anybody have any questions? Did you understand what I did by weaving these together? There you go. And those were 1/2 inch strips, 20 of them, 8 inches long. Now, you can put something in the center. You can spray glitter over these. But this is the traditional way, just like this. But you can add embellishments if you want. Now this will dry, and then we'll hang it. So let's see if these are dry enough to work with. This, well, we only did one of these. But see, these center strips, when you get the second one, you turn it upside down, go inside of each one of these channels, tunnels, whatever they're called. So you have 8 points when you're done. You have to go back and watch it again, Diana. It's really not difficult. You just have to make sure that your center ones on both sides, that you don't do anything to. And you just flip the ones over on top of the others and glue it and hold it. See, these are, yeah, these are dry. So it doesn't take long to dry. But you get an 8-pointed star. Now this will be dry here shortly, and then I'll be able to put the hanger on it and hang it and do a picture. But that's all it is. Now you can make these really small and hang them on cabinet doorknobs or doorknobs. Now if you did these strips 1 inch wide by 16 inches long, you can do a big one and use it as a tree topper. There you go. So we did this in what time? And I went really slow. So we did this almost an hour, but I went really slow. Once you start doing these, you'll see that they go together really quick. But I hope you try it. Let me know if you do. Post a picture. You can put it on Apple Dolly. I will approve it. And let me see what you do. If you're making anything that we're doing, post it so we can see what each other's doing. Okay, and how you change it up. But it's just a basic over-under weave to start with of your strips, and then you just take one strip, turn it upside down on the other, and a little bit of glue to make these points. So you got 2 points, all 4 corners on 2 of them. And when you flip the other one up, the points then go on these strips here. So then you can take these strips and put through the inside channel. Diana, you can do this. I went really slow to show you every step. And all you got to do is some fabric and some fusible so that your fabric has stiffness and a little bit of glue. Yes, you could do this, Diana. So, thank you for joining me for the Advent Star ornament. So if you make the tree topper, a bigger one, send me a picture, let me know. I will post it. But these would be very pretty, glittered right now. You can get glitter spray and spray these. So there you go. It's the same on both sides. It'll look much better when I take all these clips off. But there's your finished star. Okay, thanks everybody. I'm glad you hopped on. Have a great day. God bless you.